Chapter 9 Life on a Farm in the Mid-Atlantic Colonies, Part 1. Primrose, come see the kittens that have just been born, yelled Patience, Primrose's sister. See, there are 6 of them, Patience continued as her sister appeared at her side. Primrose sat down next to Patience as she pointed to a spot beneath a large shrub, where the mother cat and her kittens lay. The 2 girls stared long and hard at the tiny creatures that looked more like little rats than kittens. There were 6 kittens in all. Their eyes were closed and they could not walk. They lay in a heap together beside their mother. I want to keep one as my own, said Patience. Well, you can't yet, Primrose replied. They have to stay with their mother for at least 10 or 11 weeks. Then you'll have to ask Mama and Papa. They'll say no, though. They don't like us keeping animals inside the house. I'll hide it in a safe place, said Patience firmly. Where? Asked Primrose quite seriously. Where will you hide it? I can't think of one place that Mama and Papa wouldn't find it. In a bucket, announced Patience confidently. Do you think that a kitten will stay in a bucket all day waiting for you to finish your chores? Laughed Primrose. Do you think Mama and Papa won't notice you carrying a bucket around everywhere? Patience thought about this for a while before she replied. Then she said, the kitten will stay in the bucket if I train her to. Patience chose to ignore the second part of Primrose's question. The 2 girls continued to debate about whether or not it was possible to hide a kitten in their small log house without anyone noticing. Like many colonial cabins, theirs consisted of 2 small rooms downstairs and 3 very small bedrooms upstairs. Primrose and Patience shared a bedroom, as did their 3 brothers. Primrose and Patience lived on a farm in southern New Jersey. They and the rest of their family were originally from Sweden. They had moved to this English colony because of their uncle Sven. He had written to their father and told him about the wonderful life they could have there. Uncle Sven had traveled to New Jersey from Sweden in 1699. That was exactly 30 years after the English had taken control of this region from the Dutch. Uncle Sven was now a successful wheat farmer. The girls and their father had arrived in New Jersey in 1701. Primrose and Patience lived with their father, mother, and 3 brothers on a 100-acre farm. On their farm they grew wheat, rye, and barley. They kept cows, pigs, and chickens too. Most of the people in the Middle Atlantic colonies lived on small farms that ranged from 50 acres to 150 acres. These farms were quite spread apart, and neighbors didn't see much of each other except at church on Sunday. Sometimes they got together for special occasions, or if someone needed help. The farm that the girls lived on had a house and a large barn. They had a garden where they grew vegetables, berries, and fruits. They had a small orchard, too. Their garden was fenced, as was the area where they kept their pigs. Their cows were sent out to graze in the pasture each morning and brought back into the barn each night for milking. Their farm animals were valuable and they kept a close eye on them. After a while, the girls' older brother Lars found them by the shrub. Lars had been sent to look for them by their father. He sat down beside the girls and peeked at the kittens. Finally he spoke. You 2 are needed in the barn. Papa wants you to lead the cows out into the pasture. Then Mama wants you to weed and water the garden. After that, she wants you to go inside and help her with the new quilt she is making. Primrose and Patience sighed. They knew they had several hours of chores ahead of them. Next week would be even busier. It was spring cleaning week. They would have to help Mama make soap before they cleaned and swept out the whole house. Before scampering off, Patience knelt down and kissed the small pile of newborn kittens. I'll be back later, she whispered. Do you think Patience could really keep her kitten in a bucket?